Buffalo City Council President, Reverend Darius Pridgeon. Reverend, thank you for being with us. This is your community. What do you want us to understand? What do we need to know about this community?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And what I want people to understand about this community is that this is a tight-knit community. I happen to live about 2 blocks away from this location. This is one of the stores that we shop at quite frequently. And not only me, but people in this community. This is the only grocery store in this community where we're able to get fresh fruits and vegetables and do our shopping. So this is a very important spot. It's, like the barber shops or the hairdressers in which people do congregate, in which, seniors come here and hang out outside in their cars. So it's more than a grocery store. And this is not a community that can do without it. So it's a close-knit community. It's an important place.
Community under attack. I think of something that Brittany Packnett Cunningham, who was on with us earlier, said, which is that white supremacy isn't an individual, and there's a tendency to individualize this conversation. It is a system. It is ingrained in a system. And I wonder for you, from your perch, as you seek to comfort people in your own community, as you watch this unfold, how you are thinking about those systems and how you are thinking about what it will take to dismantle that white supremacy?
I think to dismantle the white supremacy system, that it takes honesty, first of all. And anybody who says there is none and this is a myth and this is fake news, they're part of the problem, to be honest. And I think the more people who are bold enough to stand up against racism and admit that there is racism puts us on a better track to think for things changing for the better, and for white supremacists to know that this is not actually their land or their show. But it's going to take more than African Americans saying it. It's going to take white pastors. It's going to take business people who are not African American to stand up and admit and be honest. If we don't have honesty, then we will continue to have these type of tragedies in one way or another. Can't sugarcoat it, can't push it under the rug. And it's going to take it all the way from the federal level down to the local level to really deal with the racism in America.
I want you to talk to me about that last point, from your perch as president of the Buffalo City Council. What is it going to take from local government? What are the changes you want to see enacted?
I want to be clear. I know a lot of people talk about gun control, this, that, and other. I'm not saying that they're wrong. But at the end of the day, it wasn't the gun that walked into Tops. It was a person. It was a person who had been trained. It was a person trained by the internet. It was a person who had been ingrained. And if we don't deal with that sickness, and I don't mean mental health sickness, I mean the sickness of somebody thinking that they can come into a community and kill, then I'm telling you, we'll be back here again. We can do all of the legislation in the world. And there's a saying, you can't legislate morality at the end of the day. There has to be a clear message from the highest parts of government to the lowest parts that it won't be tolerated, that you will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, and that if this is the way you want to live by taking others' lives, you should never, ever walk the streets again. Start putting people away. Start charging them as we have here in Erie County, and let's see if people feel comfortable with their white supremacist system of taking other lives.
You alluded to this at the top of our conversation, but this is a community now in desperate need of healing, and there are many layers to that conversation, more than you and I can possibly get to in this interview. But there is a feeling of safety that has been lost. There is a feeling of community that has been lost. There are individuals from this community who will not be able to be at that grocery store, who will not be there the next time that folks walk in. And there is the very real pain, fear, anger of being targeted for being a member of a specific racial group. So many layers to this. How does your community begin to heal, given what is at stake?
Well, right now our community is grieving, and the healing will come later. But until we have buried our dead, until we have said farewell and until those who have been shot are healed, it's tough to talk about healing and where we go. Because right now, in order for us to get to the place of healing, we have to grieve. And at the end of the day, those across the world who are reaching out and saying, what can we do? I say, first of all, pray if you're a people of faith. But second of all, be bold enough where you work to have the real conversation and allow somebody who feels comfortable, laughing about this event or thinking it's nothing. Let them be uncomfortable and stand up for what's right. That's where we begin to heal, when we have truth and honesty, and then we'll begin to see some change.